All right, today is Wednesday, May 30, 2018. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes CSI implementation group. Let's go through the agenda document. So first up, we have PRs that need attention. We have a couple of PRs here that Luis, you were helping take a look at. Has there been any progress on them? No, it looks like Luis is not with us today. We can take a quick look at them. Looks like they're still in progress. I don't think they were very high price, so that's okay. Yeah, it looks like it's awaiting feedback from Luis. Next up was updating docs, which is also waiting on Luis, adding CSI struct. Luis was going to follow up with David on this. And we had a handful of cherry picks. I'll take a look at these to make sure that they get the right approvals. Okay. And for the bugs, we have the entry CSI plugin leaking gRPC connections. Sergey jumped on this and sent out a PR. I think his PR had some issues that he was running into with regards to testing.
Yeah, it was basically I have to close it because Vlad kind of took over and he covered both fix and the test changes.
Oh, nice. Okay. Vlad, is your PR out?
Yeah, it's. I thought you just clicked on it. It's right there.
No. Nice.
Yep. So basically, I think yesterday or the day before I talked to Sergey, he was running into issues in the way the code was set up.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make it too straightforward to get the test to pick up on the fake infrastructure to get the connection going. So
Got it.
I had to play gymnastic with it to get it to get it to work, but it's working. I just got a note from Chris. He tested it and he said it's been running for 90 minutes and only one connection is up.
All right, cool. Looks like that's ready to review. We'll go ahead and mark that as green. Or let's keep it as orange until it gets merged.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look at that and get that approved, hopefully by end of day today.
Okay.
Then we have the external provisioner timeouts. Beksha, I think, was working on these PRs. Is she on the line by any chance? She is not.
Just now the PR. The code is okay. Just need some testing.
Okay.
Or just. That's the complicated part.
Okay. And then was there a attacher PR? Looks like it's also out. Did you get a chance to look at that one?
Sorry, I was talking about this one, not the previous one.
Got it.
What is the provision one?
Probably similar issue on the external provisioner.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a kind of misunderstanding. I think the provisioner part, it's done, and we confirmed that. So I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce her name correctly, but basically we chatted, and it seems that the external provisioners, okay, we were just trying to get the final confirmation from whoever reported that PR. We're waiting for feedback.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So it looks like both of these are pretty much close to being closed. Next up is miscellaneous updates. So this is from last time. More volunteers needed for next quarter. If you guys know anybody who's interested in helping, just put out the good word. Any other miscellaneous updates you guys want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll go through the task list. Okay, so in that case, let's jump through the task list. Block volume support. I think, Vlad, you're waiting on a review from me.
No, actually, the review is for the upstream, the other change, the prerequisite change. So I'm still working on the block volume, but there was another PR that that delegated the map operation. That's the one I sent you a note about.
Right, that was the refactor work.
Oh yeah, the refactor. Sorry.
Okay.
Refactor. I'm gonna.
Address.
Yeah, the refactor needs to be looked at. As far as the actual code change itself, I'm going to revert my attention back to that today, and hopefully have something ready no later than tomorrow.
Cool. Today is Wednesday, so Thursday. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Vlad.
Sure.
Topology support in CSI spec. So this is very close to getting merged. I'm addressing the last set of feedback from James. I had Brian Goff from Docker ping me. He has some questions about it. I'll set up some time with him if needed. Otherwise, this is looking good. Kubernetes CSI implementation of topology. I think this was mostly design that's been done so far. I don't think we're going to get any implementation done. So we'll focus on getting the CSI changes in for this quarter, which is this item. And then Michelle's making the changes on the Kubernetes side to enable topology, and then next quarter we'll link them up with this. So let's.
Is the first item just a spec or an actual?
The first item is just the spec changes.
Okay.
And then there's a second set of changes which are purely Kubernetes related, which Michelle's been working on, and those are also ready to go. So basically, we'll have changes on the Kubernetes side, we'll have changes on the CSI spec, and then next quarter we can work on bridging the gap. It's possible that we might be able to get it in before next quarter because a lot of this work is probably on the external components, but I need an update from Cheng to determine that.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and mark that as red, and then we can get a status update from him next time to see if there's any work that can be done before next quarter for this. Kubelet device plugin integration. So Vlad, I think last time we chatted, you had some suggestions out there for 2 Unix domain sockets. Did that go anywhere?
Yeah, it got merged.
Woo! That is awesome.
Yeah, I just checked on that original PR or on that PR from Visca. Like maybe an hour ago, and I saw that it got merged.
Okay.
So the changes that I suggested was considered and implemented, and it's in there.
Now there's 2 Unix domain sockets, and there's an error that gets returned on the callback.
Yeah, actually the error was already there.
I
think we were looking at old code.
Got it.
Old commits, but there is an error that is returned.
Do you mind sharing your screen real quick just to show?
Sure. Let me go ahead and do that. I got to find it first, so you can keep talking. I'll interrupt you.
Cool. So next steps on this are going to be having a PR that will actually implement this for CSI. Where are we on that? Sergey, are you working on that or?
Well, first of all, I was basically waiting for this PR to merge.
Okay.
And then I've been traveling like a past couple of days, so I didn't have much chance to work on that.
Okay.
I'll try when I get back tomorrow morning back home. I'll try to see if I can put a PR together before the freeze.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool. That sounds good. In the meantime, is anybody else interested in picking this up? Maybe since it sounds like Sergey's pretty busy. All right. Well, if anybody wants to pick it up before tomorrow, go ahead and do so, but ping Sergey to let him know first. Otherwise, hopefully Sergey can pick it up tomorrow. All right, go ahead, Vlad.
Yeah, I'm still, let me, trying to find the file. You just wanted me to show.
Yeah, if we could just take a
what
look
was
at what
changed.
the API is that merged.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me.
I
share
can keep
screen.
going in the meantime if you want to.
No, I'm there.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So the the actually let me find. All right. So what we're looking at is the watcher, which is the piece that'll scan the directory to detect if a plugin has been added. And the way you add a plugin is you drop a file in a known location, and this piece of code will scan and pick it up. So the thing that I suggested was to let me see if I can find it. The register plugin piece. Let's see. I haven't looked at, sorry. There you go. All right. So here's one thing that I had suggested, which was when the plugin info comes back to add the endpoint. So before plugin info, basically plugin info is what the watcher asks the external plugin for information during registration. So plugin info comes back with with several pieces of information. Before it didn't have endpoint, but now it does. And the endpoint is a possible location, is a location where the external driver will be listening on. Before we had this, it was assumed that the socket that was dropped in the directory for the watcher to pick up was also the same socket that the kubelet will was assumed that it's the same socket that the plugin will listen on. So this kind of separates the two concerns. The registration socket that is dropped in the directory is one socket, and possibly this may be a different socket, or it could be the same, depending on how the plugin works. Let me go back and look at the watcher. So now that we understand this, so this is the directory that this is when the watcher picks up the driver, or I'm sorry, the socket path and start the registration process. That's what gets passed in, is the socket path. And it creates a dialer, talks to the external driver. In our case, for CSI, it'll be the registrar, and does a get info and get the info here.
The socket path in this case is the original socket
Right.
that was discovered. Okay.
Right, is the that's dropped in a known directory somewhere.
Got it.
And then now it does a get the info response, which is of type get info.
And this contains the new socket information.
Right. And now it's passing the entire info response.
Okay.
Before it wasn't. Yeah, to the callback.
So now what CSI needs to do is when we implement this callback, don't use the socket path, use the info response endpoint.
Yeah, let me see because I didn't look to see what's going on in here. Where is it? Here it is, right here. I think he's already doing that. I think it's already, because I talked to him and I was like, hey, make sure if the socket path is empty in the request info, then use the default that you had from the scan directory. Otherwise, pass the proper.
So it looks like he's doing that right there. Handler, callback function. He's passing in name and version and socket. So I guess he's passing in both, and he just lets the callback function decide.
Yeah, figure out. Yep.
Can you click on handler callback function? What does the signature look like for that?
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Should be able to jump, but it won't let me. Okay.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think we got the general idea. We just need to make sure that on the Kubernetes side, we handle this correctly. If we have two sockets that come back to us, make sure we use the right one.
Yeah, here's the signature.
Oh, perfect. So you got the string, you got the endpoint string and socket path string. That's a little ugly, honestly.
Yeah.
We might want to refactor that in the future, but it's internal, so we can refactor the internal code pretty easily.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at the final signature.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, what should happen here is that it should just figure out which one to return or pass along, and just pass that along so that the receiver doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, I mean that was my suggestion to him is, if it's empty coming from the get info, the plugin info, pass this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, pass this, but he's passing.
Maybe one of us can make that change later. It's not.
Yeah, not a big deal.
All right, cool.
So
that's good.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
All right, thanks a lot for helping drive that. That's huge. So we'll look forward to getting the second part of this in before code freeze on Monday, which is CSI integration with this. Basically, CSI will implement a callback method and then register these sockets. And then anytime a new connection needs to go out, it'll have to go through some sort of CSI connection manager that looks up what the appropriate socket is and talks through that instead of generating new sockets. Actually, no, that's, well, I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out the implementation details on that.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we got it right.
Yeah.
But I think we got it right. So we're gonna have to change the registrar to talk to the kubelet plugin, and
yep.
And then we'll have the internal CSI will continue to talk to the external as it does today.
Right. So question is, did this feature go in as alpha? Is it alpha gated?
I do not know.
Okay. So that might be worth figuring out, because if it is alpha gated, we want to make sure that we work because we're beta. And if that feature is disabled, we don't want to be in a position where we don't work.
Right. I mean, that is all the code change, but I'll double check with the author. As far as this PR is concerned, most of the code changes in here, and there's a couple files.
Okay.
And then the other change is in the actual kubelet where he's starting the watcher, and that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll double check though.
Perfect. And Sergey, if tomorrow you're not able to work on this, just ping me or Vlad or someone, and then we can find someone to work on this.
Sure, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Next up is finding a permanent home. We don't need to discuss that. Entry plugins, I don't think there's any updates there. David, are you on the line? He is not. That's already green. Flex volume adapter verification. Shabiksha is not on the line, so we don't have updates there. Liveness probe, something that Luis was working on. And dynamic max volume count is still in proposal. Actually, I think this got merged. But we decided not to proceed with the Kubernetes implementation of it. The CSI side is merged, but the Kubernetes to CSI side we're going to punt to next quarter. I think that's pretty much it. So the big outstanding items now are getting the topology spec merged, getting the block volume changes done, and then the device plugin integration, getting the last step callback methods implemented.
Yeah.
And I think we should be good to go from there.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Go ahead, Vlad. Sergey.
So we're in a code, or was it code slush?
Yeah, that just means that the PRs that we want to merge need to be tagged with the 1.11 release. If you have a PR that needs to be tagged, just ping me on Slack and I can do that for you.
Okay, yeah. And then Monday is the drop dead date.
Yep. So Monday end of day is if your PR is not LGTM'd and approved, then it's not going in. So we need to make sure that it's LGTM'd and approved by end of day Monday, and then we're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'll reach out if for the bug fix for the gRPC leak connection leak. That'll need LGTM.
Okay.
Eventually.
Yeah, just keep pinging me on any PRs that you need my attention on. If I'm ignoring it, just keep pinging me. I'll make sure to do it.
Vlad, before I lost the connection, I was trying to ask you a question about, do you think there might be a problem with the bug fix and the work on the plugin integration? Because I mean, they're pretty much touching the same area in the code. So
yeah, that's why I want the bug fix in as soon as possible too.
Right.
It's gonna cause conflict. There's no way around it. It's gonna be cause conflict.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'll try to prioritize getting that approved for merge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.